Madam, live started.
Good morning all. A warm welcome to Suryapet Khammam DCEB Bioscience online class. I am Kausar Anjum, working as TGT Science in TSMS Imampet Village at Suryapet Mandaland district. Today I am here to present you the topic excretion in other organisms. In previous sessions, we have learned in depth about the excretion chapter, that is human excretory system. Today, I'm here to explain you about excretory system in some of the other organisms. So when I finish my class, what will be the learning outcomes? So see here, you can come to know the names of various phyla under animal kingdom. And you can learn about various excretory systems of various animal phyla. You can get information on evolution of excretory system, and you can analyze various phyla and their excretory systems. So let's begin our session with the topic excretion in other organisms. So at first, once again, I want to tell you what is excretion. Excretion means removing of waste substances from our body. Okay, so here in detail, we have learned about human excretory system. So kidneys are the major excretory organs. And in the previous session, you have learned about other excretory organs in the human body, like lungs, skin, isn't it? Today, I'll explain you excretory systems in some other animals. So here, what animals we are going to see today are, the first is amoeba, that is belonging to the phyla Protozoa, and second is porifera and coelenterate, third platyhelminthes, fourth nematodes, fifth arthropods, sixth annelids, seventh mollusca, eighth echinodermata, and ninth reptiles, aves, and mammals. So we are going to learn excretory system in all these phyla. Here this amoeba comes under the phylum Protozoa. So first we will start with the Protozoa, excretory system in Protozoa. Protozoa in 8th standard, you have learned about amoeba, paramecium, euglena. Okay, so all these animals comes under the Protozoa. These are unicellular organisms. You have learned about unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Uni means one, cellular means cell, single celled organisms, and multicellular means which has more than two cells, multicellular. So here in Protozoa, how the excretion goes on. And one more thing I have said you how an organism is formed. Few cells combine to form tissues. Few tissues combine to form organs. Few organs combine to form organ system. And few organ systems combine to form an organism. I said this Protozoa is unicellular. That means only one cell is seen. Can one cell form a tissue? No. So further, it cannot form any organ. So here there is no specific organ for excretion. Only single cell performs all the physiological functions like digestion, respiration, excretion, transportation, and everything. But there are no specialized organs because it is only one cell. So how the excretion is seen in the Protozoa? When the Protozoa absorbs the food and digests the food, definitely the undigested waste materials will be formed. And when the metabolism occurs in the cell, definitely some the wastage ammonia, such type of salts, excess salts will also be there. So all these has to be excreted. So how these are excreted means by the process called as diffusion. Diffusion is a process by which the unicellular organisms like protozoans excrete their waste to outside. So here, when this amoeba captures the food is captured in a round structure which is called as food vacuole. The food vacuole digests and absorbs the necessary substances, and the waste materials are again surrounded by another cell membrane this membrane, which is the amoeba's membrane. Again, it surrounds that waste materials and it forms contractile vacuole. So contractile vacuole, it is single membrane structure. It contains all the unnecessary substances. And when it absorbs all the unnecessary substances along with the excess water, it swells. The contractile vacuole swells and comes near to the cell membrane of this amoeba. And when it comes near to the cell membrane, it blasts. When it blasts, what happens? There will be more waste in the amoeba and less waste outside of the amoeba. So diffusion occurs, movement of ions from higher concentration to lower concentration. So where the waste concentration is more, inside the amoeba. Where the waste concentration is less, outside the amoeba. So the waste substances inside the amoeba, which has encircled by this contractile vacuole, will be sent out by the process called as diffusion. Okay, so excretory system in protozoans is excretion in protozoans is done by the simple diffusion. So next phylum is Porifera and Coelenterata. So Porifera and Coelenterata. Under this Porifera, we can take the example of sponge. So this sponge, you have come across about this sponge in the 8th standard. And under the Coelenterata, we can see the animal that is Hydra. Okay, in 8th standard, you have learned about the budding process, the reproduction process of Hydra, isn't it? So these two animals, these two Porifera has a similar mechanism of excretion. So these two have the same excretory systems. That is, as these two are the aquatic animals, the water enters into the body of the sponge, and also the water enters into the body of the Hydra. As the water can circulate throughout the body of the sponge, and here also the water circulates throughout the body of the Hydra, the water dissolves all the unwanted substances and can be removed out as the water goes on circulating. So water enters into the animals of these animals and collects the wastage and again comes out into the outside water. So as the water is circulating into these animals and coming out of these animals, so it doesn't need any specialized excretory system. It is a simple mechanism by which it removes the unwanted substances. So here I have given a line. Water baths almost all their cells. Inside these cells will be there. So water comes into this body and it touches all the cells and gathers the wastage and again comes out into the water. So it is a simple mechanism seen in this phyla, that is Porifera and Coelenterata. For this phyla Porifera, the example is sponge, and for Coelenterata, the example is Hydra. Next, we'll move to the third phylum, that is platyhelminthes. So the third phylum is platyhelminthes. For this, the examples are tapeworm and flatworms. So tapeworm and flatworms are the examples of phylum platyhelminthes. So here, this is the flatworm. These will be flat. Dorsally and ventrally, these are flat. So here, how the excretion goes on means they excrete their waste through organs called flame cells. So here, children, this is very, very important point for your examination, it's a board examination. So that is, special excretory structures were first appeared in flatworms. In the previous two phyla, that is Protozoa, Porifera and Coelenterata, there are no specialized structures, isn't it? But here in this platyhelminthes, that is belonging to the flatworms, first time some excretory structures has been evolved. So what those excretory structures are means those are flame cells. So flame cells can also be called as Protonephridia. Flame cells can also be called as protonephridia. So here, these are the flame cells. Okay, so these are the flame cells which are connected to this tubule. These flame cells open into the body cavity of the flatworm, collect the wastage from this body cavity and send into this tubule. This tubule is connected to an opening that is called as excretory pore or nephrediopore. Pore in the sense small hole. Okay, pore in the sense small hole. So here these flame cells collect the wastage from the body cavity and gives to these tubules. These tubules connect to outside by means of a small pore that is called as excretory pore, or it can also be called as nephridiopore. And one more thing, from these one more thing, why these cells are called as flame cells. Flame in the sense fire, isn't it? In this flame cell, inside the flame cell, there will be cilia in the sense hair-like structure. As this cilia goes on flickering, it will move here and there, and it appears like a flickering flame. So it is named as flame cells. So here, the flame cells open into the body cavity of the flatworm, collect the wastage, give to the this tubule. This tubule connects to outside of the flatworm by means of a small opening called as excretory pore and releases wastage to outside. So here, this is most important. That first time the excretory, the specialized excretory organs were found in the flatworms. Those are flame cells. Next we'll move to the next phylum, that is nematodes. For that nematodes, the roundworms are the examples. So roundworm, this is the cylindrical, its body is round like cylinder. What are the excretory organs means? Those are the rennet cells. So rennet cells are the excretory organs in the roundworms. And what is the excretory substance? What substance it releases means it mostly excretes ammonia with some amount of urea. In excess quantity, it releases ammonia, but some quantity of urea is also released. So nematodes, for the phylum nematodes, the example is roundworm, and the roundworms excrete their wastage through rennet cells. Okay, next we will move to the next phylum, that is Annelida. Annelida, this is the most familiar animal to you, earthworm. Whenever the rain comes, you can see the earthworms coming out of the soil, isn't it? Mostly earthworms live under the soil. But when the rain comes, what happens? The water merges in the soil and the earthworms cannot breathe. And because to take air, they come out of the soil. And why this earthworm is called as annelida? On what basis these are kept under annelida means, see here, you can see segments, lines on the body, isn't it? There are the small lines. That means this body is divided into small chambers, which are called as segments. So all the segmented animals comes under the annelida. So here, this is also the most familiar animal, which is a leech, which sucks the blood. So as leech and earthworm are the examples of the phylum annelids. Okay, so how these excrete? These will excrete through the organs called as nephridia. Nephridia are the organs of excretion in the phylum Annelida. Leeches and what this earthworm comes under the phylum Annelida. So two pairs of nephridia are in each segment. So these are the segments. I have taken 3 segments here of the earthworm. So in each segment there are two pairs of nephridia will be there. So this is a nephrostome. Nephrostome collects the wastage from the segment and gives to this tubule, and this tubule is connected to outside by a small opening called as nephridiopore. So nephrostome collects the wastage, passes to the this coiled tubule and is connected to outside of the earthworm's body by means of a small hole, small pore called as nephridiopore. So this is the combined, all these parts comes under the structure called as nephridia. So annelida is a phylum where the example is earthworm and leech. These use excretory organs called as nephridia. And what are the excretory waste? What it will excrete means it will excrete water, minerals, salts, and some of the nitrogenous waste. What is the nitrogenous waste here means urea. Okay. So we will move to the further phylum, that is arthropoda. Arthro means jointed. Pod means feet. See here, here two animals are displayed. One is scorpion and the second is the cockroach. And this is the most seen animal, isn't it? This animal you can find during night time. So this is active during night time. So it is a nocturnal animal. So here, if you see the cockroach and scorpion, it has jointed legs. This is one joint is connected to the second joint. So the animals which has joints in their legs comes under the phylum Arthropoda. Arthropoda phylum is the largest phylum in the animal kingdom. In all the animals, which phylum has more number of animals or more number of species in number of animals means it is Arthropoda. So arthropoda, the examples of arthropoda are scorpion and cockroach. You can give all the insect examples for the phylum Arthropoda. And if you see the excretory system here, this is a cockroach, and it will take the food from here and it goes into the digestive system. It has a long coiled digestive system. Okay. Where the food is digested. Here, this is the foregut, and this is the midgut, and this is the hindgut. Gut in the sense digestive system. Okay, so here this is the midgut, in the sense the middle part of the digestive system. It is the posterior part, means hindgut, the last part of the digestive system. In between the middle part of the digestive system and the last part of the digestive system, you can see the thread-like structures or tubes-like structures originating. These are nothing but the Malpighian tubules. So Malpighian tubules are the excretory organs seen in the phylum called as Arthropoda. Malpighian tubules collect the wastage after the digestion of the food, and it will be excreting out. Okay, so Arthropoda, it is the largest phylum. Cockroach is the best example for Arthropoda, and you can give other insects or also as the examples. So here the excretory organs are the Malpighian tubules, which collect the wastage and excrete the wastage through outside of the body. Okay, so what is the substance which it excretes means it mostly excretes the uric acid. Uric acid is a major excretory substance. I hope you have understood the phylum Arthropoda also. And we will move to the next phylum, that is mollusca or mollusks. Mollusk, the meaning of the mollusk is soft bodied. If you touch any substance, if the animal's body is very soft, then that it comes under the mollusca. So mostly the soft bodied animals are snails, and mostly you can see in the movies octopus, isn't it? Octopus is also very soft bodied animal. So this comes under the phylum mollusca. Along with these two, Limax, Unio, Dentalium, Loligo, all these also comes under the phylum mollusca. So these are some of the mollusks are covered by shells also. So what is the excretory organ which is seen in the snail? Here I have taken the example as snail for the mollusca. This is a snail, children. This is the internal structures, internal body of the snail, displaying various organs. So here, this is the part seen in the snail body, which is called as nephridium, or it can also be called as metanephridium. So this part collects the wastage from the body cavity of the snail and it excreted out through anus. Okay. So the snail is the example for mollusca, and the excretory organs seen in the snail is the metanephridium. We will move to the next phylum, that is Echinodermata. Echinodermata, the best example is the starfish. You are familiar with this also, as you will be seeing this in the Discovery Channel or in most of the other animal channels also. So here, this starfish is the example of Echinodermata. This upper side is called as dorsal side and the lower side is called as ventral side, isn't it? So here, starfish at its dorsal side contains a small opening which is called as madreporite. So through this opening, the water enters into this starfish and circulates throughout the body of the starfish, and it comes out through the openings which are at the ventral side. So what type of excretory system it exhibits? In the sense, it exhibits water vascular type of excretory system. Vascular means tubular, blood vessels. Vessels means tubes. Vascular means vessel, which has vessels. So here, when the water enters into this echinodermata, there will be the tubes inside the body. Those tubes will take the water to each arm of this starfish and will collect the wastage, and the wastage will dissolve in the water, and that water will be expelled out or excreted out. So the vascular water vascular type of excretory system is found in the echinodermata. And we will move to the next or the last phylum of animal kingdom. I mean, the three phyla are seen in this last topic. The first one is reptiles, second aves, and third mammals. So once I'll give a brief explanation about reptiles, aves, and mammals. So the animals which are displayed here comes under the phylum reptiles. Okay, so why these are under the phylum reptile, crocodile, snake, and lizards? In the sense, the animal bodies whose skin is covered with scales. Okay, or it can be scoped with a bony plate. Turtle is an example, also is also an example of reptile. The animal bodies whose skin is covered with either scales or a tough shell, body shell. That is, those animals comes under the reptiles. So how these will excrete, we will see further. Excrete their wastage, we'll see further. And coming to the mammals, how these from 6th standard you are learning about mammals. What are the mammals? The animals which give birth to their offspring, which give direct birth to their offspring, which produce milk after their delivery. Okay, which has isn't it? So which has a hair on their body. All these comes under the mammals. So the animals which are displaying here, that is dog, monkey, elephant, all these comes under the mammals. And next, coming to the aves. Aves, the animals which comes under the aves are the birds. So these birds have originated majorly from the dinosaurs. These are their body is covered with the feathers. They have hollow bones, and they have a beak for feeding. So birds are the examples, comes under the phylum aves. All these reptiles, mammals, and birds and aves excrete their wastage through kidneys. Okay, so all these phylum, all these animals which comes under these three phyla excrete their waste through the kidneys. I hope you have understood all the phyla and their excretory organs. Now we will see once the evolution of the excretory system. The most ancient organisms are the protozoans. Here these are single celled organisms. They have no special organs for excretion. They excrete their wastage through simple diffusion. And somewhat evolved organisms are porifera and coelenterata. For this porifera, sponge is the example. For coelenterata, hydra is the example. So here the water bath excretion, I mean the water circulates throughout the body, collect the wastage, and excretes out as the water comes inside the body and moves outside the body. And after this porifera and coelenterata, somewhat evolved organisms are the platyhelminthes, isn't it? And in this platyhelminthes, after this platyhelminthes, and nematoda, and after nematoda, annelida, and most evolved organisms are arthropoda. Next come to mollusca and echinodermata, and finally most evolved organisms with well organized, well evolved excretory organs are seen in reptiles, aves, and mammals. Okay, so this is how the evolution of various organ systems have been are seen in the different phylum. So here, structural and functional complexity of excretory organs increases from sponges to humans. Here there are no excretory organs, isn't it? Okay, here in porifera, somewhat development is seen in the mechanism of excretion. So as you move as you go up in this flowchart, finally most evolved organs are seen in human beings, which comes under the phylum mammals. So here this is about the various phyla. And sponges and coelentrates don't have specific excretory organ, isn't it? They too don't have an special excretory organ. Water helps in the excretion. Next, now we will come for the final part, that is evaluation. As it is the table which is given in your textbook, mostly you can get exam. That is in part A, 17th question, which one table will be given. You have to analyze that table and you have to answer the questions, isn't it? So here the phylum name is given and the excretory organ is given. So after going through in detail about this table, and depending upon your previous knowledge, which you have learned about all these phyla, you have to answer these questions. So what is the first question here? Which animal comes under the phylum mollusca? Which animal comes under the phylum mollusca? Mollusca in the sense soft-bodied animals, isn't it? So here you can say, you can give the example as snail or octopus. Second question, which other phyla possess kidneys as excretory organs along with aves? Along with aves, which phyla has excretory organs as kidneys? Means you can give reptiles and mammals. And the third question, in which animal specific excretory organ has been evolved for the first time? Which animal was that? Flame cells were the first animals. Flame cells were seen, isn't it? In the flatworms. And next, flame cells are seen in which phylum? In which phylum you can see platyhelminthes. Flame cells are seen in the platyhelminthes. So these type of questions you will get in your board exam. And along with this, you can also get the one word answers for 1 mark questions. And also you can get from this topic, you will get the questions in part B also. So you have to prepare all round. After my class, go through the content which is given in your textbook. Try to frame your own questions, answer those questions, and get it corrected from your teachers. Okay, thank you for watching my class. Meet you soon in the next class with a new topic. Thank you.